All right, y'all. Some MAGA voters are losing their jobs and they're now questioning Trump's policies and his economy.
Hype me up. Hype me up. Hype me up.
Let's talk about the Trump supporters that are losing their jobs. Last night I was out in Chicago and these three guys started talking to me and they were all from Naperville. And they asked what I did for work and I said, oh, like I make educational content. And the guy was like, oh, are you one of those like liberals? Like, are you one of those like lefties? And he was so serious. Like he just continued to like mock me and make fun of my content. And I was like, okay.
Mocking the liberals, like a conservative mocking the liberals, like, oh, you're so smart, oh, you stupid. Like, come on, bro. You're making fun of people who are light years ahead of you in intelligence for the most part, bro. I ain't saying they perfect, but if you talk to the average person who doesn't agree with Trump's policies, they got a lot more bandwidth than the person who just worships that guy. I promise you that.
Leave this conversation. And he goes, yeah, it's because of you guys that my mom just lost her job. And I was intrigued. I was like, why did your mom lose her job? What did she do for work? And he goes, oh, well, she was in the military. She's a veteran, but then she was working at this office for the last few years and they just let her go. I look him dead in the face. I'm like, do you think your mom was a DEI hire? Because veterans are a protected class. And now that they don't have to hire her anymore, then they let her go. He goes, that's so true. He doesn't believe me. He looks it up and just the color just like drains from his face. And the guy with him was a research assistant after just graduating from university. And his position was just terminated because of lack of federal funding from the federal government, which is thanks to fucking Trump. So newsflash, DEI doesn't just mean black people. So in fact, what's happening on a federal level is going to affect you too. You aren't special just because you're white. Everyone's getting them. Okay, bye.
I'm seeing more and more people online saying, well, I voted for Trump, but I didn't vote to lose my job, and I didn't vote for a global trade war, and I didn't vote for Elon Musk to run amok in the government, slashing agencies and cutting jobs, and I didn't vote to see America's allies cast aside. Oh, what the fuck are you talking about? Of course you voted for that. You were perfectly happy to see all that happen as long as it didn't happen to you. And now that the leopard is eating your face, suddenly you've changed your tune. Well, you get no sympathy from me. You voted for that. You wanted that. So you sit back and enjoy the fruits of your labor. I don't care what happens to you. I just want you to feel the pain that you brought on yourself, because that is the only way you can learn.
Have the day you voted for, goddamn it. Ain't nobody finna feel sorry for you. Snow cone head eye.
Have an FAFO for a federal worker, a Trump supporter. And actually, he's also a veteran. Did you know that a majority of veterans, federal workers, and military voted for Donald Trump? Even though he's been a draft dodger 5 times? Well, I digress. Wait for this FAFO. It's almost like they're getting it. Let me know.
Trump is the worst type of human, bro. A coward, a draft dodger. I know black men today who had to go and fight in Vietnam. No choice. They didn't have no rich daddy to pay a doctor to say that he couldn't do something. You get what I'm saying? Like, just, oh my God, you got to be one stupid ass person to vote for that man, bro.
I was hoping he would did something that made sense regarding the economy, made some kind of progress in bettering, the benefits of being a veteran. But I mean, it just seemed like he actually cared about doing what was best for the country. But now it just feels like all about me, Donald Trump, not, the guy out there working in the trenches.
I'm seeing more and more of these FAFOs every day, but you notice he didn't care until it affected him and only about what's going on with him. Do you agree?
Yep, 100%.
One of Donald Trump's biggest supporters now regrets her vote for Trump because he fired her from the federal government. Just take a look at the clip.
This flag used to hang there.
This was the flag Jennifer Piggott proudly hung outside her home during campaign 2024.
We had the flag. I had the shirt. I was a MAGA junkie.
A MAGA junkie who thought her government job would be safe with Donald Trump in office. She was wrong.
I cried.
You know she was a DEI hire. It is what it is.
It's scary, it's a really scary thing. And I was embarrassed. He's a good boy.
Piggott was abruptly fired last month from the Treasury Department's Bureau of Fiscal Service, based here in Parkersburg, West Virginia.
Wow.
The reason given for the firings of 125 probationary employees at the Bureau? Poor performance.
I had my last review on the 31st of January, and I had the highest rating that you can get on a review, less than 21 days before I was terminated for my performance.
You voted for Donald Trump.
I did.
Do you regret that vote?
Yes, I do. To cut the knees out of the working class Americans just doesn't make sense to me.
Dope alone. He need to leave that dope alone.
I expected more from President Donald Trump.
Since speaking out, Pigott says she's received death threats and her home has been egged.
Yeah, she had her flag out. She wore the t-shirt. She was very much in Donald Trump's corner, and now she regrets it. She would not have voted for Donald Trump again, and you're seeing this sentiment all over the country. There were a lot of people out there who voted for Donald Trump to lower grocery prices or lower gas prices. Now, obviously, that's not happening, and instead, he's firing people from their jobs and destroying the federal government. We are already seeing a lot of regret from Trump voters, and I think that's only going to increase, just like you saw there.
Here's my question to the American people. Who wants Trump impeached? Like, who is...
I don't want him impeached. I want him locked up. I want him convicted. I don't want him impeached. I want him thrown away in jail until his last dying breath. That's what I would very much love to see that. I think the world is definitely going to celebrate if he passes away. Like, honestly, I don't care if it's by natural causes, if it's by, you know what, people are going to flood the streets and a celebration will be had. I know here in New Orleans, boy, they gonna throw a parade, boy. They gonna have a brass band and they gonna cut up out here, boy. They gonna be second lining in the middle of the street. What? I just hope I'm here to see it.
Fed up with this? I want to know in your comments. I want this to get around to your friends and family. Who is sick and tired of being sick and tired of a man that does not put the American people first, who does not care about what happens to us? And I'm tired of seeing all these MAGA freaks out there sitting here saying, I'm proud of my president. What are you proud of? Let me know. Find me. Send this to one of your MAGA friends. Let me know what you're proud of. You're proud of a man who has destroyed this country piece by piece, and he's not even a solid year into this thing, and we're already in turmoil, fuel prices up, inflation up, a war going on he can't get rid of, when he sit there and promised us that there'd be no war, cheapest gas in the last 100 years, we would have all these promises, and now you've turned around and you voted for this man that promised us this, but now you people out there also have the nerve to sit here and say, I love my presidents. Are you okay? Let me just ask you again, are you okay? Because that's not smart up here to sit there and say, oh, that's my president, boys. And this man ripping us off every time we turn around, and he's over here making hundreds of millions of dollars of personal income while you're still struggling at the pump because you're just as broke as the next person. But you're still supporting this man. Have some common sense, America.
Hey, man, dog, he hit the nail on the head with that one, bro. Dead serious. They have Stockholm Syndrome. Go look that up. Stockholm Syndrome, bro. They are suffering from it.
Donald Trump has tried to fill the holes of most Americans financially, and well, it hasn't gone to plan. New polling has confirmed that for the first time since Donald Trump took office, a majority of Americans now believe that their finances have actually worsened instead of getting better since Donald Trump took office. That's significant.
Hey, the fact of the matter is, people that voted for Trump, you had more money in your pocket when Obama was in office. You had more money in your pocket when Clinton was in office. You had more money in your pocket when Biden was in office, bro. Where's the lie? You had a job. You had job security. Lending was easier. It was just a nice time to be alive, man. I remember the recession when I first started college, man. I went to college late, but I started college in like 2008, and we was in the middle of that damn recession. And I remember everybody was excited to get Obama in office. And man, I remember a couple years later, bro, the housing market was booming. I just remember this like it was yesterday. You had money in your pocket, bro. And people was upset with this man. He was doing a great job for the most part. But, you know, he put on a tan suit one time and they really ruffled their feathers with that shit. But like, dog, Trump sucks. How can you support him?
New Focal Data Financial Times poll confirms that 53% of registered voters in the United States of America feel worse off today than they did under Biden. 57% of those independents believe that they are worse off, and almost a quarter of Republicans feel as though they are worse off. 2/3 polled believe America's economy is heading in the wrong direction, and just 25% say that it is heading in the right direction. Donald Trump was elected primarily to fix America's pocketbooks, to make sure that Americans are keeping more money. It's not happening. Not at all. And Americans are furious heading into the midterm elections where the economy is and will be on the ballot. Spread the word, follow for more.
But when has a Republican president fixed the economy? They usually went into a winning economy and exited a losing economy. Democratic presidents entered a losing economy and exited a winning economy. It's a pattern. It's a trend.
So you know how the Trump administration is holding all these press conferences and they're like, we're winning, we're bombing ships, we're threatening to go into another country, we're winning so much. Oh, look, this one brown-skinned person has a horrible track record, we're winning. And then MAGA supporters are like, oh my God, all this winning. They're not winning and they're pissed. So here's what Fox News doesn't want you to know.
Tell me nice
so
white lady.
Companies in the United States are taking a huge hit. Let's just focus on BlackRock, okay? The big American finance giant. They just lost $17 billion.
American dollars?
Why did they lose $17 billion? Because a giant Dutch pension fund withdrew their investment in
America.
BlackRock. Why? Why did they do that? Because BlackRock de-emphasized climate and social justice initiatives to cater to Trump's agenda.
Stupid.
And then this pissed off the Trump administration. Morgan Stanley, another financial giant, just undertook a huge study. They pulled a shit ton of individual investors in U.S. companies, and 80% of them said that they want companies like BlackRock and any other companies they choose to invest in to have climate change initiatives. They believe climate change is real.
So you telling me the smart people who are getting their intelligence from scientific researchers are telling these people that we want y'all to invest in climate change stuff? That's what you telling me? I ain't the smartest dude in the world, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't the smartest dude in the world, but I'm not the dumbest. I'm so far from the dumbest. I'm somewhere slightly above the average. Got some things I can work on, strengths and weaknesses, and I know them. And I'm, communication ain't my strong suit, but analytical shit, I can do it. That's what you telling me? All right, now continue on, white lady. Nice white lady.
They're upset at all these companies capitulating to this dumbass administration.
Ooh.
They believe in climate change.
I like how she said that. Say it again.
This dumbass administration. They believe in climate change. 80% of them. So they're putting their own pressure on companies, withdrawing money, investing elsewhere in companies that have the balls to stand up to this administration. Trump, their administration is not happy. And then here's a big one. Trump is so pissed off, he even posted about it. A Norway wealth fund worth $2 trillion just sold their stake in Caterpillar, U.S. equipment manufacturer Caterpillar. Yep.
Deeply troubling. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Just sold all of their shares. Why? Because Israel purchases Caterpillar equipment to undertake the big G word. Yeah, Norway divested in a bunch of Israel banks and investments as well for the same reason. This pissed off MAGA so much that Lindsey Graham just went on a tirade. We're going to put even more tariffs on you, Norway, and we're going to revoke, all of your visas to come here and everything like that. They are piss. Meanwhile, other investors are having this conversation across the board. Fox News is not letting you know about this. They have seen a titanic shift of other countries investing in American markets, meaning they're not. They're pulling out. They're not investing in American companies. The U.S. exceptionalism has been single-handedly destroyed by this administration. And other, especially dictator countries are more than happy to step in and fill the gap, and they are. And these investors, U.S. investors, are saying it's not going to return because European stocks, Hong Kong stocks, all these stocks are soaring, and they love it. And now everybody's buying in to other countries' investments, and they're completely bypassing the United States. And the final message that investors are passing around to each other is we have no one who's going to help us. We have to save ourselves.
And you know how we can save ourselves? Invest in black people. Invest in what I consider the most creative people to ever walk the face of the earth. You give us what we need, we will lift this economy up to heights you have never seen before. If you take the average black kid who lives below the poverty level, the federal poverty level, enrich them with resources, a quality education, a nice place to live, you'll see this country skyrocket to the next stratosphere. That's what you would see, because us black people, bro, we are blessed with the most creative minds ever. We create almost every trend, every fad. We've invented a lot of things that we didn't get credit for. If we didn't invent anything, what was his name? I don't want to, not James Vardigan. There's another white guy. He was the U.S. Commissioner of Patents. He made it to where a slave couldn't even own a patent. Why would you need to do that for someone who can't create, who can't invent, for someone who's a beast? Why would you do that? So many things were stolen from us, intellectual property. But if you give us the chance, we're going to create something, invent something that will basically revolutionize the world, because it takes money to do that kind of stuff. When you're living on survival mode all the time, you don't have the time to tinker with things, experiment with things, to just sit around and daydream and come up with beautiful ideas. You just don't have that time. But when you do have time and resources, you can come up with things. Help the poor people out. Everybody eats, man. A rising tide lifts all boats, man. It's that simple.
That's a lot of winning.
I be yapping, bro. I'm a professional yapper.
The new jobs report is out today. And this one is special because, it showed that we lost 92,000 jobs in February. On top of that, December was revised down by 67,000 jobs to negative 17,000 jobs. And that means that 2025 was the worst year for job growth since 2010. I still have career PTSD because of 2010. Every time your boss says, "Hey, can I talk to you for a sec?" Instant anxiety. Donald Trump lost us jobs 5 months out of 12 last year. And then after claiming that the 130,000 jobs we added in January were proof that we were at the dawn of a new golden era, almost all of that is given back 1 month later and probably going to be revised down further. The thing that makes this jobs report different, though, is that there is no asterisk. There's no, but that was all government employees, which, by the way, government employees, they spend their money at the store like the rest of us. Government employees buy American cars and put American tires on them. They eat at American restaurants. When the taxpayers pay a government employee to do a job that is valuable, that currency goes into the economy like every other job. So Donald Trump getting rid of 330,000 middle-class workers over the past 12 months is not the brag point that MAGA thinks it is. All it really does is show how jealous they are of somebody who's educated and employed. Now, it's true there was a healthcare strike in California and Hawaii that cost about 30,000 jobs, and those people are back at work, but that's only a third of the losses. Construction and manufacturing both lost jobs. White-collar IT work lost jobs. At the same time, the unemployment rate rose, the long-term unemployment rate spiked, and wage gains slowed. But prices continue to rise, because even though the Supreme Court shut down most of Trump's tariffs, he did everything he could to replace them, even temporarily, just to make sure that prices couldn't possibly go down. I guess the only good news for MAGA is that the state of Kansas revoked a bunch of driver's licenses for trans drivers. So I guess that one's off our plate now. Meanwhile, the only good news for the rest of us is that assuming we can find our way through this, all of this, the fact is that no president in American history has ever escaped the economy. It got Jimmy Carter, it got George H.W. Bush, it got George W. Bush, it even got Joe Biden, and now it's coming for Trump.
You got to put an asterisk by Biden. He was handed COVID, right? That what happened with him. And I ain't praising this man or nothing like that. I'm just saying I'm going to call a spade a spade.
Everybody, David Schuster here. As the U.S. job market craters with losses over the past 2 months of over 100,000 jobs, the Trump administration is trotting out a new talking point. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says America doesn't need as many jobs. That's right. Fewer jobs are part of...
Wait, hold on. Why wouldn't we need that many jobs? Did we see a large exodus of American citizens move to a new country, thus eradicating the need for those jobs? Where are you basing these claims, brother? Like, come on, man.
Making America great again. Here's the exchange with CNBC's Sarah Eisen.
There are signs that the job market may be cracking a little bit. Got a weak job report last month. I'm curious about your assessment as to how much we can handle all of this.
Yeah, I think the jobs numbers are quite noisy. And again, Sarah, the other thing that's important too is like the jobs that we're seeing are going to Americans. After the deportations that we've seen during President Trump's administration and the closing of the border, that like this unfettered migration, we don't need to produce as many jobs.
Did I just hear that right? He said that because of the deportations, Americans are taking those jobs. First of all, bro, let's call a spade, bro. Those undocumented immigrants are not working the job that I want to work, that I think is enough money to take care of me and mine. So I know it ain't enough money for you and yours. And you're telling me that these low-paying jobs, back-breaking jobs, laborious jobs, white folks who voted for Trump are going out there standing in lines to take those jobs? You a damn lie, bro. See, this is what happens when you lack critical thinking.
Don't need to produce as many jobs, except that until now, the Trumpsters insisted migrants were stealing jobs. Well, now thanks to Trump, jobs have been lost. As far as the overall U.S. economic picture, one of the biggest concerns right now is this.
The national debt just hit a record high, 40 trillion, yes, with a T, dollars. The number staggering, and it arrived sooner than predicted. The debt roughly doubling in less than 10 years.
Donald Trump added $7.8 trillion just in his first term, an increase of 39%.
Bro, do y'all understand how big 7.8 trillion is, dog? The fact that the world has that much money, period, is crazy. A billion is 1,000 million. What's 1,000 times 1,000? A million? So in other words, a trillion is 1 million millions times 7.8. And that's how much your president just added to the deficit in his second term, in the first year of his second term. No wonder he bankrupted so many of his own businesses.
A year and a half into term two, Trump has piled onto the debt another 3.8.
Oh, okay, I had that wrong. So but still 3.8 trillion, bro. So you telling me 3.8 million millions is what? I'm gonna shut up.
$1 billion. Global creditors are increasingly skeptical about the U.S. paying back what it has borrowed. What? So bond prices just soared to their highest levels in decades. To try and break the fever, the Trump administration is buying back some of the bonds. But even CNBC's Sarah Eisen, who's normally a Trump cheerleader, is calling out Besant and the shaky U.S. economy.
Strong signal from the administration on the buybacks, but the fundamentals are ultimately what is going to prevail here in the bond market, and the fundamentals are hard to ignore when it comes to the size of our debt, with public debt increasing to now $40 trillion.
Yeah, I mean, look, Sarah, there's nothing magic about the 40 trillion number, and we can grow our way out of that.
Boy, somebody needs to slap the shit out of him.
Yes, we can, or we could grow our way out of that, except that gross domestic product, or GDP under Trump, just hit another low at 1.5%. Headline, U.S. economy slows as inflation bites. Gross domestic product grew at a slower rate in the second quarter, and persistent price pressures are unsettling financial markets. Markets are also unsettled by the ongoing standoff with Iran in the Persian Gulf over the Strait of Hormuz. The Trump team just announced a new effort to squeeze Iran economically, raising the prospects of Iranian retaliation and sending oil prices higher. But Scott Besant speaking. Hello, everybody. David Schuster.
All right, y'all. So for those of y'all who don't understand the bond situation, I'm going to try to explain it to you very simplistically. So right now, foreign investors, if they're going to take a risk in investing in America, they're going to want a higher return on their dollar. So right now, the bonds have to be at a certain interest rate to entice foreign investors to want to invest, because right now they're looking at us and they're saying, right now, y'all country is spending more than what y'all are bringing in. Y'all are a risky investment. So if I'm going to be spending, billions in bonds, I want to have a higher interest rate. So I want my money to make more money if I'm going to risk spending it with you. It's no different than if you found out your favorite company is not doing too well, but they want to raise capital. Then what would you want in return? All right, if y'all are not doing too well and I'm taking a huge risk, if I give you $10,000, you talking about giving me 3% interest on $10,000. That's not enough. I'm taking all of the risk. Give me 5%. Give me 6%. I'm going to need that if I'm going to invest in you. Because right now, I don't even know if you're going to be around in the future. It's kind of sad, bro. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. I've been yapping this one, dog. I'm going to get at y'all on the next one.
Hype me up.